Peace. Quick live. Think fast. Want to speak on taking certain breaths, like the proper breaths to take in certain situations, and kind of get into the type of breaths that empaths should take to transmute energy. Cause I don't know if I don't think I talk about this enough. And then honestly, I just started to realize this more. But like as quote unquote empaths, and I don't like to use that terminology, but it's people sensitive to energy. You know, we're experiencing energy around us on a strong level. In essence, in order to transmute it. Excuse me as well. Like now, say for instance, when you're doing meditations and you're trying to raise your kundalini, you could do what is called cryo yoga breaths or just yogic breaths, which is the ones with the nose that I always talk about, where you're breathing in with the nose, and then the stomach, comes out as you inhale, and then you breathe out of the nose, and then the stomach goes in. You have that one, but that's more pumping the kundalini energy up. But then you have a type of breath that's like for releasing energy, and that's in through the nose, and me personally, which this one, I'm not sure. For me, it feels more effective when it's in the nose and that deep breath, like the yogic breath. So instead of like in the nose and out and poking my chest out, it's still a deep breath. Like so, but then I'm exhaling out the mouth. And with that breath, you could feel the energy, being released from you, especially in that solar plexus, stomach area. You could feel whatever tension is there being released. And that's the type of breath that an empath or quote unquote person that's sensitive to energy should take. Like, so if you're around somebody, and another thing too, added to that is visualization. So say for instance, you're around somebody fussing and you can feel it and it's making you feel uncomfortable. You take a deep breath in the nose, and then you take that exhale out. And as you're exhaling out, envision that energy, leaving out of your body, and envision sending nothing but love to that situation, to those people, or whatever the case may be, And there's no particular order in essence, but as far as with the visualizations, but again, you're gonna feel like some type of aqua way, and matter of fact, on your inhale, you could envision, sending that love, and then on the exhale, you're also releasing whatever energy that you felt from the situation. You're releasing that out of your body and almost like exhaling it from from that situation, kind of pushing it away and taking some of that negative energy, some of that negative edge off of whatever the situation may be. So that's something definitely to keep in mind, because what has really came into play for me, and I noticed like, because matter of fact, my sister down with the energy, I was noticing that she was taking a particular breath that sounded funny. It was like and then like, kind of like just coming from deep down in there. And I see where it came from, because she was, walking around transmuting people's energy without telling them, what I'm saying? Basically, helping people without them knowing. So again, too, like going back to that subject, where when it was certain rants or whatever, not even say rants, but just keeping it real about the way the universe worked, and it may seem like it was like from a negative perspective, you see that was more of just keeping it real, because again, here it was that she was walking around transmuting that energy as well, what I'm saying, as she was walking around teaching these lessons. But I learned this from taking shrooms on the full moon night, and I talked about this on the other video where, something happened by us, and I mean, you could just feel the sharpness of that situation. And then too, what was funny, like I literally threw up the energy where like I breathe in and I like and I like that, and I could actually feel it like leaving out of me, like And two, you could actually feel it leaving out of you in the essence of like two, after you like do that exhale, like hold that exhale for a second, and you feel like there's like, not say no energy in your body, but you feel like that release and that emptiness of like almost like the body waiting to be filled back up with some type of energy, whether negative or positive. It's like, whew, I got that out, and like now I'm ready for, some type of energy, hopefully positive in that sense. But again, that in through the nose, out through the mouth is a transmutation breath. That's a breath to transmute energy. So again, and I'm saying people that sensitive to energy, you know, people who just sensitive enough to feel uncomfortable in them situations. You ain't gotta be no super psychic person or none of this. We all got this ability, you know. It's just certain levels to it on how strong you believe in your abilities, and to a certain extent that has to do with how calcified your pineal gland is. Because you could almost feel like, you're gonna doubt yourself because you could feel the lack of metaphysical abilities within your being. So you're gonna doubt that you could visualize, helping somebody and really help them, because your pineal gland is calcified and is making you uh, less confident in those abilities. And you start to see again why I always speak on the importance of decalcifying your pineal gland, and why the government aim to calcify it so much, because it's almost like, aiming for that area that just makes everything fall. But again, you got the yogic breaths, the in through the nose and out through the nose. Then you got the transmuting breath, that's in through the nose, out through the mouth. I mean, it really move that air from the deepness of your being, on out of there. Really feel it leaving. And another, which I think I spoke on this Kundalini breath, is one where you breathe through your nose like quickly, simultaneously, like inhale, exhale, like, and then you pull up on your anal muscle, and then bring your stomach in, and that shoots up the Kundalini. And you'll know when you do it properly, because you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel something raised from the base of your spine. And two, you could judge on like, in essence, like if you have a blockage in your Kundalini rising, it'll stop at a certain chakra. So say for instance, if you take that breath and feel like that energy didn't go no higher than your solar plexus, say for instance, and it didn't reach your head, then it's something to work in the solar plexus, something to free up, or like, some type of blockage or something that you need to work on in the solar plexus, in order to allow that Kundalini to pass through the solar plexus as well. But when it's, completely rising, you're gonna feel it just go straight to the head, straight to the pineal. You're gonna feel that Christ seed, ascend from that dirty root chakra, that dirty manger, where it's born and raised up to be seated at the seat of the soul, or the right hand of the Father, quote unquote. But that's all key. And don't forget about conscious breathing. And conscious breaths could be either, a yogic breath, in through the nose, out through the nose, or the in through the nose and out through the mouth, like a transmuting breath. But just as long as, just at some part of your day, you're in the grocery store, you're standing in line, you're in between you're listening to somebody in a conversation, whatever the case may be, in which, to a certain extent, watch yourself for listening to a conversation, because if you take a deep enough good one, you could almost lose what they talking about and stuff. As a matter of fact, realizing how much, unless it's real important what you're talking about, like, just that the deepness of being in that quiet zone is that real place to be, so that's why, you may fall out of the conversation, because you're going in that God place, in that moment, in that deep breath. That's why deep breaths also make it, in essence, close to impossible to get angry if you take the deep breath. You know what I'm saying? you know, in which it may take more than one. But if you take deep breaths, it basically disallows to get angry. In essence, the heart has to have like an incoherent type of pace to it. Incoherent meaning it's not coherent. It's not at a steady pace. It's at an erratic, pace that's not really synchronized in essence with the rest of the body to a certain extent. But it's just erratic. But it becomes what I was gonna say. I forgot that quick. You see us falling out of the different things. I was talking about heart coherence and your heart being incoherent. It'll come back to me. Oh, being angry and taking deep breaths, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when you take that deep breath, it almost makes it impossible for you to get in that anger mode, because it keeps your heart at a steady pace, and it kind of disallows for that heart to get in that angry beating, vibration mode in essence. So, and I talked about that in another video as well. I mean, I sprinkle a little bit of everything in all my videos, so the title will say one thing, and they'll have little gems about other things, or a little story I might tell about others. Y'all see how I do videos anyway, how I just had that moment of like, being off. It's polarized, sometimes it's a good thing and it's a bad thing that I jump stories, and that's, sometimes I end up just forgetting completely where I was, and sometimes I end up holding on, and, whatever the spirit says goes, whatever my higher self or the higher self, because I don't possess myself. If it is me, I am that I am. But anyway, just remember, again, quote unquote empaths, people sensitive to energy, and people just sensitive enough to feel energy. If you're around negative situations, or just any situation that may be lower vibration or negative, whatever the case may be, if one of those situations happen to break out around you, and that energy comes into your zone, you take that deep breath through the nose, bringing it to the stomach, bringing it low as possible, and then you exhale, and you envision that all that energy, negativity leaving out of your zone, and as well as blowing out of the situation that's around you. That's the job, you know what I'm saying? That's why we feel it, in order to help people with that energy, you know what I'm saying? And your visualizations count, you know what I'm saying? Especially when your pineal gland is very open. So, peace. Have it now. Now is the vibrate, of course. I mean, not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Peace.